grab your coat and get that hat. Leave your worries on the doorstep and just direct those feet to the sunny side of the street. Can you hear that pitter pat? Yes, that happy tune is your step. For life can be so, so sweet. On the sunny side of the street, I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade. Now I'm not afraid that this rover has crossed over. If I never, never, never have a son, I'd be rich as Rockefeller with gold dust at my feet on this sunny side of the street. Used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade. Now I'm not afraid that this rover has crossed over. If I never, never, never have a son, I'd be rich as Rockefeller with gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. On the sunny the sunny side of the street. Oh yeah, good morning everybody. Happy Sunday.
He's got a million of them. Nice job.
Thank you.
So everybody, that's Mr. Jason Goldstein.
Good morning.
So welcome to all of you in the sanctuary this morning. Lovely to see you. Good to see you on online also on the Love Stream. My name is Reverend Dr. Michael McMorrow. I'm the senior minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, California. We're in the North San Fernando Valley. We are a faith community that welcomes all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. So it's nice to have you here. If this is your first time joining us, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll be kept up to date with what's going on here at the center. And so please help me welcome our presider this morning, the mistress of all things animal ministry, Reverend Kathy Lyons. Yeah, let's give her some love. She likes dogs too. Don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, you better. I mean, good. Yeah, so anyway, so let's, as we batten down the hatches in the back there, get ready to kick off. Let's start by taking a deep, conscious breath and release as we allow ourselves to use the breath to anchor us in this eternal now moment. As we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. That fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as Reverend Kathy lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the 5th candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the 4 Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the 6th candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the 7th candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the 8th candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the 9th candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here in our sanctuary, within our online community, and of course, within our own hearts. And as Reverend Kathy lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
There is one flame that burns in our hearts. There is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our soul. There is one flame, one light within.
So join me, please, as I speak in the first person for everyone here, and how grateful I am to be here, to have this beautiful experience of experiencing that one light, that one flame, which is God, which is abounding love, health, wealth, creativity, and freedom. And I am one with the Spirit of God, of love, health, wealth, creativity, and freedom. So I declare that today, this Sunday experience is a perfect and complete idea in the mind of God, that I celebrate that freedom to live and create what I desire. And whether it's loving relationships, health and vitality, financial freedom, wisdom and wealth, or creative expression, right livelihood, I am free to express that. I'm free to just express that unique goodness within me, that this unique talents and skills, as well as just being my unique self, that each one of us is an expression of God, a perfect expression of God, and we express it in our highest and best way. And so how grateful I am today for Reverend Mike, for Jason, for Ian. I just am so grateful and appreciative that for everyone here and online to celebrate that freedom to express and be ourselves. So with gratitude, faith, trust, and conviction, I release my word to the law. It is done, it is so, and together we say, and so it is. Good morning and happy Sunday. and knowing that all of you had a nice Independence Day. And I wanted to ask, have you ever felt, though, like you were in a slump? I was feeling this way this past week. And so I decided that I would join Reverend Nicole's Artist Way group. She spoke here last week and she was promoting it. How many people are familiar with the Artist Way? If you're not familiar, you can Google it online to know more details, but it's a 12-week course. We work out of a book by Julia Cameron, and they have different writing exercises and different things to do to get in touch with that creative side. And I felt like I needed this because I had gotten in kind of a rut. I was watching Netflix, looking at YouTube videos, and to me, that doesn't ignite that creative spark. We all have a creative spark within us, and I haven't found that's one of them. So what I like about the group too is that I check in every 2 weeks with people. I like to have something where I have some structure, because that's why I like the classes here. Meeting with people, having things to do, assignments, and I find that keeps me in alignment. And what I found too, to be creative, it doesn't mean you have to paint the Mona Lisa or write the best-selling novel. Of course, if you have that desire, you could. But it's also just having expressing ourselves in a unique way. And we're obviously all creative. And we're creative even if we know it or not. I've sometimes created things that in my mind, like, oh, I'm in a rut, or I don't like this, and then what happens, I create that experience. So we're all creating, but to have that creative satisfaction, we all have different things we like to do. I like to draw. My drawing isn't like Susan Rios out, if you've seen her paintings in the lobby, or like Margot and Mary Jane. They have different ways, but I like to draw my cat pictures. It gives me satisfaction, and I like to make greeting cards with them. So I don't have to worry about the approval of anybody else. I think it's every activity to find some fun in it. Even if I'm doing housework, a lot of times I can find that meditative and fun, and then thinking about, oh, I'm gonna have a nice orderly home. But creativity to whatever it is, whether it's music, dance, painting, writing, maybe you liked, Reverend Mike was creative in his construction business. It might be making something. We all have that, and it's all unique, and we don't need to compare ourselves with anyone else. Ernest Holmes says in the Science of Mind textbook on page 629, engage in some form of activity to express the better self. So live, laugh, and love, and so it is.
Good morning, everybody. I love you, Spirit. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment I wake up until lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of you. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of you. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. I've known you as a brother. I've known you as a friend. I have lived in the goodness of you. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of you. Your love is running after, it's running after me. Your love is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now, and I give you everything. Your love is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now, and I've given you everything. Yes, your love is running after, it's running after me. Well, all my life you have been faithful. Yes, all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of you. Yes, I will sing of the goodness of you. Yes, I will sing of the goodness of you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I also want to acknowledge Evan. When I was doing the treatment, I didn't see him in the back there because it's kind of dark in that booth. So we give thanks for Evan as well. Okay, so we have some announcements. As always, practitioners are available today after the service for a 5-minute tune-up. Will all the practitioners raise their hands? So talk to one of us if you'd like a treatment, or you can go to find a practitioner on our website at cslgh.org. On July 9th, 7 p.m., Kitty Hack, our practitioner, is going to do the Spirit of Taizé. Is that Taizé or Taizé? I always forget. Take your pick. The theme this evening is freedom and what it means. So remember, Wednesday at 7 p.m. and July 12th, 7 p.m., we're hosting Family Movie Night. We Become Heroes. And there will be a short activity facilitated by Youth Coordinator Ginny Fox to kick off the night and enjoy a movie of friends, free drinks, and snacks. And July 16th at 7 p.m., join us for the peaceful sound of the Tibetan singing bowls facilitated by Wayne McDonald. And so, Chloe, will you bring our gratitude box? Okay, so what's the...
Good to see everybody on here tonight. I mean, good to see everybody here today. Says, I am grateful for my life.
Grateful for life, travels, and the wisdom I received. Grateful for God's guidance. Grateful for health, children. I'm grateful for my finished and published book. And so it is. Thank you, Chloe. And let's stand for our Declaration of Principles. We believe in one universal spirit manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal to and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and in the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all.
We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be.
Good for you for staying with the resonance of that song. Yeah, so let's give it up now for Jason. Thank you. Nice song selection, great delivery.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. So the CSL theme for this month is Rolling in the Deep. So I'm glad you didn't do that song yet, since we got 3 more weeks to go. Hi, Todd. And happy Independence Day weekend. I hope you all had a good one, yeah? And our talk title today is Remember, River Dolphins. I don't make this stuff up. They just send it to me, and then I go, okay. I open myself to the creative impulse of life. Before I get into that, I do want to say that it was nice to be off last week. I went up to Oregon to see my son and his family, my grandson and his wife, Abby, and I'm just really great to see, he was 10 months on the first, so growing and changing fast. And it was really great to see what great parents they are and really attending to the important things. And so I have a picture illustrating that. So I guess you guys don't know that I'm a Seahawk fan. Jeez, what a bunch of... All right. So we'll move on to the next gag, see if that one works. So I went to the 4th of July picnic that we had here at Pettit Park. And so this was a picture of the pie eating contest. This fellow here, I believe, with the number 1 on his shirt, I guess he came prepared. He must have done a spiritual mind treatment, emptying, expanding, abundance, whatever. Anyway, it was really fun. It was like an old school picnic. So that was for the adults. They had a barbershop quartet there that was not nerdy at all. It was really good. And the kids got the 3-legged race and water balloon toss and sack races, all that stuff. So good old school picnic. And then we have Remember the River Dolphins. So, and of course, this graphic here, this is CSL who sends this out, by the way. This graphic here, is that a dolphin? No, what is that? It's a dolphin with its nose cut off. No, it's a manatee, not a walrus, a manatee. And I'm sure the CSL artist knows the difference about such things, but there you go. Maybe they live in Florida and want to give the manatee national attention. I don't know. So, and given that it's the end of the Independence Day celebration, I thought we could highlight the moment this morning with our very own Let Freedom Ring manatee. So here you go. Yeah. So thank you, ChatGPT. How about that? I just put in there, show me a manatee with the stars and stripes, and that's what it came up with. Took about 5 minutes. Had to do a little bit of thinking. All right, so still faster than I could do it. So, and then, but bringing it back to dolphins, also by ChatGPT. The inspiration for this week's consideration is from the Black feminist writer Alexis Pauline Gumbs, who herself was inspired by her grandmother. Excuse me. And Gumbs also often encourages the reader to look back upon their ancestral wisdom and bring forth lessons of wisdom and resiliency those lessons contain. And these are common themes in her writing. And she is an accomplished writer. And like most accomplished, acclaimed writers, Gumbs finds her inspiration by looking at the familiar from a little different angle. So hence the reference to dolphins when she poses this question: I wonder what it means for an ocean dolphin to swim up a river. The bottlenose has a range across the whole planet, the whole ocean, and yet sometimes they choose the boundaries and specificity of a river, of a brackish water, of narrow shores. Why? Why? I'm asking you why. As it happens, dolphins are adaptive creatures believed to have levels of intelligence approaching the so-called intelligence of humans. They have very sophisticated communication skills and sonar abilities. They are willing to leave the relative comfort of the ocean, which is salt water, of course, and make their way up rivers, which is fresh water, and to make their way even into muddy, murky waters in search of food. They choose to move out of their comfort zone to wade into uncertain and unexplored areas. Now, the interesting thing about this, they will actually, you guys watch Nature Channel stuff too, right? So they actually take their tail and flap it around in a circle around fish like this, but stir up a barrier, a muddy water barrier to cut the fish off and to herd them into smaller groups so they can more easily pick off the fish. They do this in the open ocean also with bubbles. They'll actually make a bubble curtain around say, a shoal of herring so that they can easily pick it off. So very, very smart. Because Jacques Cousteau taught them how to do this thing. No, okay. I know. They taught him. So they choose to move out of their comfort zone and to wade into uncertain and unexplored areas, to push the boundaries of ordinary living to a new experience of reality. Now, is this a mystic interpretation of what's going on for the dolphins? Well, it's certainly a human projection, my projection, but who is to say that they do not think in such ways? Because biologically, the brain development of dolphins certainly points to the fact that there is something deeper going on. And there were a lot of experiments in the 70s, 80s, 90s by the Navy with dolphins for various tasks that we don't need to go into, except to make the point that they exhibited strong intelligence within, the dolphin realm. So I wonder if a dolphin thinks the unexamined life is not worth living. Who knows? Maybe that's what that means. So the obvious metaphor and question for ourselves is, are we willing to wade into the murky spaces? Are we willing to challenge our own status quo ways of thinking, our structures of knowing, and doing so only to hide safely behind ways of being that we feel will keep us safe, or at least we think will keep us safe? Ernest Holmes once wrote, "There is nothing but freedom in the universe." Nothing but freedom in the universe. Is this really true for us today? Do we consistently work the edge of our practice so that we are experiencing freedom of thought and action on a daily basis? And if we are we confident enough in the value of this experience for ourselves that we are willing to ensure this for others? So, we just had yet another 4th of July celebration. I've had a few of these now, more than 50 of them anyway. Okay, more than 60 of them. Okay, more than 65 of them. All right. Next year is going to be 250 years that the Declaration of Independence emerged onto the global scene. 250 years. And, the world has not been the same since. So as, a person who, I'm an immigrant, and I've always been aware of that since I was a kid. And a question that I've asked myself going back, way back into even my high school, perhaps before that, years, because I was always a fan of American history. That was the one subject I didn't have to be talked into studying. So the question that I find myself asking is, are we as a nation living up to the ideals of freedom and governance that were set forth in this declaration? Or are we swimming in muddy and brackish waters? And what does that mean for me as a religious scientist? Right? And how does the science of mind and spirit inform my perspectives about such things? If it does at all. So whereas the Declaration of Independence called for the dissolution of the political bands which have connected them, the colonies, to Britain, this was a political statement. The basis of this statement, though, is a moral argument. Political as policy, moral as the universal spiritual truths established in the next paragraph of the document. We hold these truths to be self-evident, meaning that we all just acknowledge that they're true. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, when they said that all men are created equal, they did mean men, not women and men, right? They meant all men being those who owned land, right? Because if you didn't own land, you could not vote, right? So it was a very aristocratic setup from the start, which grew as the consciousness of the people, the governed, grew in consciousness. Consciousness in what? To accept responsibility of the consciousness of the governed. So also, we can't lose track of the fact that these men were also slaveholders, that all men are created equal. So there was a lot of paradox. So this document is aspirational. In fact, from a religious science perspective, the Declaration is a vision statement for a method of creating a form of government that enshrines the human rights of the individuals, and that as a vision statement with strong aspirations baked into the cake, baked into it in this way, then it's really something to be celebrated, right? It's something to be celebrated even as people have serious concerns about whatever is going on in the body politic, right? That it's okay to not be happy about things that are going on and still have a love of country. The love of the aspirational aspect of what this great experiment is. The rights of humanity as a basis for establishing a government is something that we often take for granted today. And maybe that's the beauty of this chaotic thing, is that maybe now we're not taking it for granted. But that was unheard of at the time. People did not think in such ways. It was just a theory of the Enlightenment era, which in those days, the guys who were doing all this thinking and writing, they were, for the most part, aristocrats themselves, right? Because they were the only ones, not the only ones, but it was hard to get educated in those days. So this is a vision statement and a product of the Enlightenment era that we as a people and we as a planet are still benefiting from. Now, a moment when colonial, political, and regional rivals were called to step away from too much theory and instead step into practice to demonstrate the ideals set forth in the Declaration of Independence. That the Declaration of Independence is the organizational design model from which the Constitution in time would be built. And that even then, even though it was all in the Declaration, they still had to put 10 amendments on there, were required to enshrine those same rights in the way that they manifest themselves before these newly formed states would ratify the Constitution. So it was not easy stuff to do then. You know, the Virginians were the aristocrats of the colonies at the time. You had the mercantile system up in the Northeast. All these guys, they were at each other's throats. We think that, you know, life was so pastoral and peaceful and harmonious, but it wasn't, because it was human beings trying to build something new with various causes and concerns. So it was not easy stuff to do then, and it's not easy stuff to do now. You know, taking a bunch of rebellious free thinkers and mixing them with the dynamics of a mob mentality is never easy, but is necessary and has always been part of the process. So in the textbook, Holmes writes that, the truth points to freedom under law. That's what, I didn't think we were there yet. Thus, the inherent nature of humanity is forever seeking to express itself in terms of freedom. That we shall do well to listen to this inner voice, for it tells us of a life wonderful in its scope, of a life beyond our fondest dreams, of a freedom the soul craves. But I think that's out of context. No. All right. Well, we'll go with it. So Holmes also wrote that one of the great difficulties in the new order of thought is that we are likely to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. As a matter of fact, we can only know as much as we can prove by actual demonstration. That which we cannot prove may or may not be true, but that which we can prove certainly must be and is truth. So he's raising the bar here, Holmes is. In the same way that, Jesus and the Buddha raised the bar, right? From just a general ritual practice to interior or an individual practice. So we teach that it is our thinking that creates our reality, yes? We teach that there is an intelligence that we are both thinking into and thinking with, yes? We teach that in order to access this higher order of thought requires contemplation, focus, study of teaching, both new and ancient, to discover for ourselves the universality of all spiritual thought and experience. So we are called to explore what it is within each one of us, our own individual understanding of how that Spirit works for us, how it works through us, how it works as us. And how can we activate that, doing our own work within that? How do we activate that to create a world that works for all? Well, practice makes perfect. We start in our relationships, the ones most intimate, right? And then maybe our church communities. Hopefully we're practicing that, right? And then in Granada Hills, and then in the city, and then in the state, nationally, globally. There's a resonance. There's a vibrational tone that is attuning us in thought. So this work starts with ourselves first. We must lean into Spirit all the time, in all things. We must know that there is a greater truth longing to make itself known behind the veil of this surface life, behind the veil of social media, which that is a complete illusion generated by algorithms that just send you things that you already agree with. So unless you go looking for stuff, you're not going to find discordant ideas that might move you off your center. Or you're just going to find a bunch of ticked off people doing the thunder thumbs on the, who cares, right? Nobody really cares what you or I think about any of this stuff. We must lean into spirit in all things. Know that there's a greater truth longing to make itself known behind the veil of this surface life. And we must make it welcome. So, the truth points to freedom under the law. Thus, the inherent nature of humanity is forever seeking to express itself in terms of freedom. We shall do well to listen to this inner voice, for it tells us of a life wonderful in its scope, of a love beyond our fondest dreams, of a freedom that the soul craves. The freedom that the soul craves. What drives a dolphin into murky waters? Well, what drives us into exploring areas of thinking that maybe we haven't entertained? Right? It's that longing of the soul for connection through new experience. If there is to be change in the world, it's up to you and me to bring it forth. Tend to our own field, to be sure, but to remember to leave enough energy, enough attention, and enough compassion to address the plight of others. I think, if I understand the Spirit, one of the aspects of Spirit is a universal intelligence, an omniscience, an all-knowing aspect. And that compassion is the logical outcome of this intelligence within the human experience. Right? Compassion may be a component on the quantum field. Who knows? We're just playing with it. We just started playing with this stuff 50 years ago. Physicists are saying now that they are suspecting that consciousness is affecting the quantum field, and that the quantum field is affecting consciousness. So this intelligence as compassion calls us also to address the plight of others rather than to dismiss it. Our teaching is a very individualized enterprise where we work on our own consciousness. But that doesn't mean that we hide out in the teaching so that we're not considering the plight of those whom we share the planet with. And at their best, all religions do this. They call us to our highest expressions of ourselves. So in this modern era, it is often the chaotic flow of world events, or as this chaotic flow of world events is going on, it's good to know that even here, both you and I, are the point of power in our own life. That we have the freedom to choose where we rest our attention. That Holmes wrote that the conscious or objective mind, the mind we are using right now to discuss things with, is personal, has self-awareness, and is creative. Is personal in that it's to ours and has self-awareness, and that we're aware of what we're thinking and its impact, that it's all creative, that just beneath this, we have what we call the subjective or subconscious mind, which is a deeper layer of creativity. So we set the vision, we set a direction, right? And we don't have to figure the whole thing out. We just have to know with a deep faith and belief that the creative impulse of life is going to take it up and bring it through to demonstration. Ours is to cast a vision, to set the tone, to allow. The creative impulse of life will seek expression through your life and mine, that it may create more of life and create it more abundantly. that it may create more of life so it can have an experience of itself as the thing it creates. Now, there's a trippy idea. Holmes also reminds us that we cannot only embrace ourselves. Somehow, our arms must find themselves around the shoulders of all humanity. We cannot worship a God who belongs to us alone, only as we enter into a feeling of the essence that diffuses itself everywhere. Then at last can we look at each other and say, I worship you in your form. Right? Or the divine in me recognizes the divine in you, if you will. So, let's call Jason forward. Just take a breath. We live in interesting times. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now. You may have noticed. But here's the trick. We chose to incarnate at this exact moment in time. So you know what that makes you? Insane. We're all crazy. Right? But we can be crazy with the Spirit. We can be open and receptive to the creative impulse of life to bring forth ways of thinking, ways of being, ways of doing that create peace, harmony, light, love, connection, understanding, seeking first to understand rather than be understood. To understand that we are the point of power through which Spirit operates. And so we open our hearts right now in this moment. Take on this divine assignment as ours. Pay attention to the rest of this day to seek ways of allowing the creative impulse of life as freedom and independence to make itself known. And whatever insights we glean from that today, we take into our work week. See what changes and come back and report next week and see how it's better.
This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, to the Redwood Forest, to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. I roamed and rambled and followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of a diamond desert, and all around me a voice was sounding. land is your land.
This land is my land. Like you mean it.
From California to the New York Island, in the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. Yes, this land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me.
Nice job, everyone.
Almost like being back at camp. Let's do the watermelon cheer. Okay, no, we won't do that. All right. So let's ask, we can ask Chloe to bring up our offering basket. Just take a few minutes more. So if you have come prepared to with a physical offering, just make your way up to the basket. For those of you joining us online, if you can make your way over to PayPal or however your generosity finds its way here as we sing our offering song.
Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit gives through us, Spirit receives through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us.
So take a breath with me just for a moment longer as we recognize and know that this basket represents both the generous heart of the individual, the receptive heart of this spiritual community. The generous heart of that individual who knows and knows that they know that God is our source, our substance, our supply. The receptive heart of this community, in that we accept these gifts by whatever method your generosity finds its way here, through the offering this morning, through online giving, through the mail, that all of it goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless the vision and mission of this center and anyone connected to it in any way. From this place of gratitude, we extend a blessing upon our community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of it, our churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them, that we know for our planet as well, that in some crazy cosmic way, the creative impulse of life itself is making itself known. And to the extent that we know this to be so, we see its demonstration in ways great and small. This lifts our hearts. We feel a sense of grace and power that propel us into ways of spiritual living that raise not only our own lives, but the lives of those around us as well. And that's a good thing. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. Thank you. So let's give it up one more time for Mr. Jason Goldstein.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
And I hope you guys had some fun on the chat today. It's nice for you to be joining us as well online. And let's call up Reverend Kathy. So this movie night is being extended to the families in our reading program, which is pretty darn successful. We have a lot of kids in here on Mondays and on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And we now also have an orchestra rehearsing on Wednesday afternoons. So we're using it as to come, Ollie Ollie and come free for a Saturday night. So that's next Saturday night. But the whole congregation's invited to attend. So come watch a movie. It's a kids' movie, but it's supposed to have some adult themes. Maybe you'll get some inspiration. Who knows? If you didn't get it today, maybe you can get it next Saturday night. Pray us out, Rev.
So join me, please, taking a breath, breathing in that life and breath of God. And as I speak in the first person, as I recognize this power, which is God, and that God is love, freedom, and peace, and I am one with God's love, freedom, and peace. That love, freedom, and peace is in my mind, my body, all my affairs, so I am free to express my highest and best self. And I make this declaration for this community, this country, the world, that it is an embodiment of God's love, freedom, and peace. And I declare that, envision that, and feel that each and every day. And so with grateful thanks for this wonderful service, I release my word to the law of mind as I let it be so. And together we say, and so it is.
Please join me in singing the peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as the power, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in